It is time now for the final drive as we touch on every team to touch the field this weekend. And we start with the Illini. It may not have been the most exciting brand of football, Howard, but they're 2-0.
And that's important. They find a way to win. Young players are also stepping up and making plays for them on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. They got to get special teams, or rather the discipline, cleaned up. 9 penalties for 95 yards. That's not going to cut it.
A win for Indiana and perhaps a new quarterback for Tom Allen to consider in Peyton Ramsey.
Big-time win for Indiana on the road after a real emotional loss last week to Ohio State. Pretty balanced, too, both offensively and defensively. Ramsey will be interesting now to follow him. It looks like he's there to stay.
What an Iowa win in that Cy-Hawk rivalry in OT.
Yeah, Nate Stanley goes on the road, 5 touchdowns, outstanding performance by him. The offense is continuing to improve each and every week.
Kasim Hill looks like the real deal. Towson, not exactly a litmus test. Maryland probably doesn't want the bye week they have scheduled next Saturday.
I don't know, Rick. They may want it. I mean, Kasim Hill's young. He can get a lot learned by watching those first 2 tapes, give him another week to grow. I think that a bye week comes at a good time, actually.
Michigan could be considered a bit uneven today, but that defense, they could bail you out on pretty much anything.
As long as they're consistent on the defensive side of the ball, they'll be fine. They'll find a way to get the turnovers and take control of the line of scrimmage with that defensive line.
And running the football much better as well. Michigan State, they did a very nice job defensively.
And it looks like last year's funk is in the past. They've moved on. Defensively, yes, but just as important, the tailback game better today than it was a week ago.
Minnesota in action as we speak. We'll touch on them a bit later. So right back to you, Jerry, with Nebraska. 2 halves, 2 very different halves, but still so poor in the first half they couldn't overcome it.
Two different halves, but we can't ignore what's happened defensively both last week and this week. Something has to change. Either the personnel has to change or the scheme has to change. They can't continue to go this way.
Hard to find anything positive from the Northwestern trip to Duke.
We saw them in the summer. We thought the offensive line was going to be an issue. It has turned out to be an issue. They can't run the ball right now, and that's a problem.
Oklahoma's really good, but, Jerry, this is the worst home loss for Ohio State since 1999.
Yeah, but as you say, Rick, against a really good Oklahoma team, they still don't really have an offensive identity, as crazy as that sounds. Urban's one of the leaders in the think tank and the spread, but they don't have either hard-nosed running feeling or a real good pass game.
Penn State gets the revenge it wants over Pitt.
Really like the way the defense is coming along. They're a dominating group, and they're going to continue to get better.
Jeff Brom's a pretty good coach. Purdue got their guy.
Purdue got their guy. Best Purdue has looked since Joe Tilla days, and it looks a lot like Joe Tilla's days. They're playing good defense, and Jeff Brom is a terrific play caller.
I'm at a loss for words right now with what to say about Rutgers and how to bounce back.
Had an opportunity late in that game. Clock management cost them. They got to be able to find a way to make something positive happen down the stretch.
And finally, Wisconsin's Jonathan Taylor, the real deal.
Yeah, he's the real deal, and Wisconsin's the real deal, but they have not hit their stride yet. I don't think they're totally satisfied with the first 2 weeks.